Mira Business FM. The sound of success.
It's the morning drive with me, Elliott. It's food and retailing now, and why Korean groceries are emerging as a profitable retail play in the UAE. Now, they're steadily shifting from a niche kind of ethnic offering, if you like, to a commercially viable retail category across the UAE. And that's driven by, I guess, rising consumer awareness, the influence of Korean culture, it would be fair to say, expansion through quick commerce platforms, and increased availability of Halal-certified products. KWave is now attracting some pretty serious attention from retailers and distributors. In fact, and these are startling statistics, according to the Korea Customs Service, South Korea's instant noodle exports rose 22% in 2025. I'm reading here to be accurate, reaching a record $1.5 billion, just over dollars, and marking the 11th consecutive year of growth. So there's a little bit of additional context, I think. Now, Chang Sup Shin is the CEO of 1004 Gourmet, which is a company at the forefront of importing and distributing Korean grocery products in the UAE. And he is with me. Welcome to you, Chang. Nice to
Thank you so much for having me on.
You're very welcome. I'd like to get some detail as to the growth and the economics of this category known as K-food. It's K-everything, it seems to be at the moment, wherever you look. First thing is, though, why is it that Korean groceries are increasingly being viewed, as I put it there, as a profitable retail play, do you think?
I think profitable is obviously relative to the business, but I think there's definitely been a rise in the awareness of Korean food thanks to the likes of the Samyang buldak spicy noodles that you mentioned. The instant noodle craze has exploded since COVID. Ever since those noodles came out, I personally thought it was going to be a trend, but no, it's
really not.
It's getting bigger and bigger, which is amazing to see. To see more Korean noodles represented on the shelves all around the world. But also, obviously, there is the Korean pop music that's become phenomenally popular around the world as well. Korean dramas, Squid Games, it's a Netflix show, but still, it is a Korean show. And
it's very much identified as a Korean show as
exactly,
well, isn't it? That's
exactly.
the thing. The whole, the heart of it, I think.
Exactly. I mean, all Korean cast, obviously, Korean written, Korean directed. Just backed by Netflix. And of course, the biggest show of last year was K-pop Demon Hunters. Again,
Good point.
I think if you have kids, you know the lyrics to Golden by now.
Yeah.
So
don't I just?
Yeah, it's a multifaceted approach to kind of raising the awareness or the popularity of Korea, and it's been a mix of social content, government kind of initiatives to promote Korean food or Korean culture, Korean travel, things like that. And we have appropriated the word K. Now everything with K is Korean. So, but it's also nowadays, just to I don't want to leave this out, but last year for the first time in history, Hanwoo, which is basically Korean beef. Han is Korea, Woo is beef, and Hanwoo has received the Halal certification or the approval in the UAE. So you'll definitely see more of that in the city this year.
Well, I think that's important to point out. I'm just waiting for you to appropriate the Kit Kat, and it will become the K Kat. I'm waiting for that. Looking forward to it. Just give us an idea. Can you put into perspective in some way? How you do this is completely down to you. Just how big is the Korean grocery market in the UAE at the moment? And how fast is it growing, if you can kind of quantify that in any way?
I think it's thing about doing business in Dubai is you're unable to kind of get real numbers of how big the market is, especially in niches like what we're in. There are not many Korean supermarkets in the city. To be honest, recently one supermarket closed down, and it just shows how even though there is awareness and there may be a market for anything, it's just difficult to run a business, when it comes to cash flow, operations, HR, management, and everything. But relative to us, I can confidently say that we've grown kind of 20% CAGR in the last 5 years. So since COVID, We've been quite lucky to expand our team from 150 to now 300 people. So if that gives you a bit of a outlook or an insight into the growth of Korean food business, I think that's one standard.
Mm.
But yeah, I think there has been also a bit more of an online approach to running a Korean grocery business. So I'm seeing more kind of snack box delivery concepts and things like that. But yeah, again, it's tough to say an X percentage, but personally, from our in our business, we've grown 20% CAGR in the last 5 years.
I mean, it's as good an example as any, obviously. What is it, do you think, that's driving the growth? You named, I mean, Korea is very well marketed, obviously, the K phenomenon, if you like. But is it mainly expats, local consumers? I mean, we've got this hugely wide demographic of different consuming nationalities here in the UAE. Who's buying into the K thing, for want of a better word?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I've personally seen the growth of Korean culture in the last 10, 15 years. It's nowhere near as big as it is right now. But having said that, our Korean clientele was at one point 70%, and now it's less than 20%.
Right.
We just opened up a branch in Al Ghurair Center where a lot of the demographics are Filipinos. So in that 90% are Filipinos.
Right.
And so I think you're definitely seeing a lot more of a diverse group of people being interested in Korean food, but also it's not just people that are interested in Korean food, it's people that are interested in cooking per se. So if you like to cook at home, there's a high chance that you would want to cook Korean food or you want to make your own kimchi. And so we're definitely seeing a lot more people coming into the shops from other countries. And again, that is thanks to a lot of the, soft dramas and music and again, the activations that are happening around the city that are Korean. So yeah, another good point is also non-Korean concepts are starting to onboard Korean dishes and Korean concept events and things like that, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
So yeah.
And people kind of align themselves, I suppose. I mean, our producer Michael here is a huge fan of, seems like everything Korean. He's from the Philippines, but I wonder if I think he might be Korean. I'm not absolutely sure, but from a retail perspective, what is it about Korean grocers that I guess attractive as a business? What would your thoughts be on that?
So we started 1004 Gourmet in 2008 because a lot of the Koreans that lived in UAE at the time were actually living in Deira in Al Ghurair Center and the likes. But then we started to gravitate towards the Greens, the Marina Six Towers, and at that time in 2008, there wasn't a Korean restaurant nearby. The closest one was in Karama. So my father and the founder, he decided to open up in the Greens, and we started off as a Korean supermarket. We didn't know at that time that it would evolve to what it is right now, but that's how we started. And the attractiveness, I think, of being in a niche segment is that you have a bit more of a higher margin. I think you tend to be a destination, I think, if you're a Korean supermarket, so people come and find you, as opposed to a business like, your regular FMCG supermarkets, like in hypermarkets and things like that. It's all about location and where you're at and the spend power of the people around that area. But for us, I think, because it is a niche, people tend to come and find us. So we'll have people traveling from Al Ain or Sharjah to come to our shop in the Onyx Tower. I've had a customer, we have many customers traveling, via Dubai, transferring to another country, and they'll buy products which they can't find in their country. So if they live in India or Pakistan or Africa, they'll buy boxes of Korean food and they'll ship, to take it, hand carry it as their luggage. So, I think that's one of the benefits of being in a niche industry, like especially a Korean supermarket. You're a destination, but I think one of the challenges is that there's a lot of noise out there. So you definitely have to do creative marketing campaigns to get the noise out, because it's hard for people to find you if you don't.
Sure. What products are performing best right now?
I always say our biggest categories are usually products that you can grab and go, products that are easy to eat. So snacks, confectionaries, ice creams, and beverages, and of course instant noodles.
Mm. Instant noodles are the thing, aren't they?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. So Koreans and Japanese as well, we're quite meticulous. One of the reasons I heard this online. One of the reasons why Korean drama became so popular is because they actually write it real time, which is insane. So imagine you're showing your first episode and you're seeing the response and the feedback from the public about that first episode, and you're writing the second episode relative to what the public feedback is.
Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah.
I think we're very good at that. And having said that, we're very good at kind of pushing the boundaries to make things better and better and better. And same thing with the Japanese. Japanese are even better than Koreans in that sense, in my opinion. Uh, we have an artisanal approach whenever we do things, and just the quality of the noodles, the flavor of the broth, the easiness of making the noodles and things like that is just top notch. And I think that's been one of the reasons why it's become so popular.
I think that those figures are just, I mean, they're staggering. 22% in 2025. I feel a bit old kind of talking about the instant noodle as a segment, but 22% in a space as crowded as the instant noodle segment is. I mean, that it really brings things, I think, into focus. So I have to ask you about kimchi from a personal perspective as well, because it's something that I'm kind of growing, I don't know, far too much of a love for. Is that a thing here in the US? This is a completely personal question, nothing to do with the business aspect of this.
No, it does
recording.
actually, because kimchi is our country's traditional food. It's the symbol of Korea. Kimchi is inherently Korean,
Yeah.
and we've seen a huge growth in kimchi all over the world. Now, the regular kimchi is made with cabbage. Now everybody's making it with different, fruits or vegetables even. And it's one of the healthiest foods in the world. It's might be one of the reasons why Koreans live long. And it's great for your gut, and I think guts are very important as we age. So I highly recommend it.
They are, that's for sure. Where's most of the growth coming from? Is it coming from supermarkets, specialty stores, delivery platforms? Where are you seeing growth?
So our business is omnichannel. We're not only in retail. We currently have 5 shops, but we're also selling on Amazon itself, but also on InstaShop and Deliveroo and the likes. And we also have a wholesale division that sells to around 500 hotels and restaurants. And so, to be honest, it's growing in all facets,
Really?
in all layers. We're getting higher traffic. We're doing a lot of online campaigns as well. We're doing also events with hotels and restaurants to kind of bring in traffic in that way. But in general, we've seen more of a demand for Korean ingredients. Whether it's kimchi or gochujang, products that were not really sought after 10 years ago, we're getting questions about. So that's really, really
Gochujang is
interesting.
it's not like it's like not I was going to say sauce. It's not a sauce, is it? It's like a paste.
Chili paste, yes.
Chili paste. Yeah.
Gochujang is a Korean. So there's 3 main chang. Chang is it means paste. It's a fermented paste.
Yeah.
And there are 3 different types. One is gochujang, which is a chili paste. One is doenjang, which is a soybean paste. And then there's a samjang, which you see in the Korean barbecue spots. You see, there's they give you a dab of this paste, and that's a mix of gochujang and samjang. And we're getting questions about it every day, which is amazing. And I think that also is thanks to a lot of the successful Korean restaurants around the world, and the representation of Korean chefs in the top restaurants around the world. For example, in America, the best restaurant in North America is a Korean restaurant called Atamix. Recently, it's not really popular as popular in Dubai or the Middle East, but Culinary Class Wars in Korea is crazy. It's a cooking show in Korea. Highly recommended. It's super intense. You get really impressed by the creativity of the chefs in the show, and the grit. And because of these things, I think we're seeing more restaurants and even supermarkets, local supermarkets that are not Korean, interested in selling Korean products.
You mentioned, is it Hanwoo?
Hanwoo, yes.
Hanwoo, okay. So how important has this halal certification been in unlocking demand?
Extremely important. Hanwoo is, I would say, on par with Wagyu. Wagyu obviously is known for its marbling, fattiness, and tenderness. So Wa is Japan and Gyu is meat.
Yep.
Han is Korea and U is meat. So it's not only similar in name but also in quality. And I always say they're both amazing, but I say that the fat in Wagyu is delicious, but the meat in Hanwoo is delicious. The chew, the flavor of the meat is amazing. And it's really important because when you're supplying to restaurants, it's the proteins that matter. Obviously, we have 3,500 products. We sell a lot of different kinds of products to restaurants, whether it's carbs like noodles or sauces or drinks. But protein is where a bulk of the money is spent by the consumers, and it's where the biggest amount of money is earned by the restaurants. And so we weren't able to kind of increase our sales because there's no Korean protein to sell besides seafood. And so the fact that this has been accomplished, I think you'll definitely see not just me but other suppliers bringing in Hanwoo. But it's great for the Korean food industry because we're able to get a piece of the meat pie. Yeah.
I love your phrasing. I do. How far away are we from seeing Hanwoo in there or thereabouts with Wagyu? Because Wagyu is just top quality meat as far as I can tell. How far are we from seeing Hanwoo at that?
Oh,
perception
we're gonna get there. It's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
Wagyu has had decades of decades of time to promote their beef and to work with a lot of the chefs and do a lot of different marketing campaigns to push it. But I think now you will slowly see a lot more Hanwoo representation on menus, and I'm personally working with chefs and restaurants to promote it. And so, yeah, I think you'll have to ask me in a year's time, and we can see how we did, and we can reflect on how we did.
Well, you'll have an invitation.
But
to come
having
back,
said
for
that,
sure.
if you don't mind me promoting myself because I'm on this platform, but we're doing an event with Shewang, which is an amazing restaurant on the Palm,
Okay.
and Hanwoo will be showcased there, so you'll be able to see it there. And also on the 26th, in partnership with Gulf Food, we're going to do a collaboration with June's in downtown with Chef Calvin, and you'll see Hanwoo on the menu there. So slowly, we're doing marketing campaigns to get the word out, both retail and through restaurants and online. And so, to all of these ideas, again, you never know how the crowd will react, right?
No,
So
for sure.
we'll see how we do.
We'll watch this space, I guess. You start. When did you start? It was 2007?
2008, but also
2008.
I was at that time, I had graduated. I worked in New York for a year in real estate, actually. And then I went to Japan for 6 months to kind of learn the culture and the language before joining the business. And I joined in the end of 2009, early 2010. So for
Right.
me, it's been 15 years.
Okay, and in that time, you now have 5 stores? I think you said.
Yep.
What have been the challenges, particularly in the challenges when it comes to scaling in the the space that you're in?
I think one of the biggest challenges of scaling is not knowing how to scale. Like scale is such an easy word to just talk about, but
It is, yeah.
I think when you're in a business where it's interactive and personal, I still believe in retail. No matter how much we talk about AI and tech, especially post COVID, I feel like more and more, especially the youth, they tend to gravitate towards interaction with other people, real human interaction, not just online interaction. So
Well, food promotes that as well, doesn't it?
exactly,
It's all
exactly.
about that.
And sorry. And having said that, I think scaling is easier said than done. I think I grew up in Dubai. I spent 33 years there, and I have a lot of good friends that I take advice from. And again, even if you do take those advices, you have to take the action yourself and make sure you execute it in the right way. But I think scalability-wise, I think Dubai, the business ecosystem is quite friendly. It is getting a bit more expensive than before, but it is friendly in a sense where you can open up new licenses and you can hire more people and things like that. But for me personally, I think we've spent a lot of time in our back end and in making sure our systems are it's still not perfect and nowhere near where I want it to be. But we've had somewhat of a solid foundation to grow with, and that definitely helped us scale a bit faster and bigger. And COVID is a great example. We were operating obviously the restaurant division and the retail division, but during COVID, our restaurant sales went from 100% to 99 to 0.1%. Our restaurant division just crashed because nobody was eating out.
Sure.
But then we were able to mobilize that team to support the retail division and to do more deliveries. So our online deliveries went up 4x during COVID. It's come down since then, but that allowed us to kind of give us a taste of how we should operate our business and what kind of direction we should go in.
Yeah, and your thinking seems nimble in its approach to me.
Yeah, I tend to be a bit flexible,
Yeah.
open-minded, and I try not to get too stressed about tough situations, I think.
Best way to be. What can you do? If
Exactly.
it's going to happen, it's going to happen. How competitive is the market at the moment?
So this one supermarket that closed down, to be honest, I didn't want it to close down. I believe in friendly competition, and I think competition breeds, competition allows us to push ourselves to our limits and to come up with creative ideas. And I think if you're idle, you're dead. And so it's a shame to see that they closed, but we're also seeing more and more local retailers stock Korean food. And again, I'm a big fan of that as well because I think we have to grow the pie together, and there will always be enough customers for everyone. And so, in terms of competition, you say, I see to a certain extent local supermarkets as competition, but also I see them as allies in terms of working together to grow the business, to raise awareness, because ultimately that's how we grow that pie. When you're selling a generic kind of product like water or ketchup, the market is limited. There's only a certain amount of people in this country that are going to buy that on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. But when it comes to niches like us, we have to continue to raise awareness, continue to activate and promote to grow that pie, because it's still, I would say, 90% of the people that live here haven't really tried proper Korean food. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You're a family business. Your father started the business. Is
Yes.
that right? Okay. So what do you think, aside from, I guess the family aspect must be an important aspect, but what sets 1004 Gourmet apart, do you think? What would you say to that?
What sets us apart, I think, is the fact that we are a family business. We're not a huge conglomerate. We are very obviously invested in our brand, both financially, personally, and emotionally. And I think when you run a business like that, there's a bit more attentiveness. There's a bit more character, I would say. Another thing is that we don't limit ourselves to Korean food. We market ourselves as a Korean supermarket because Korea, is hot right now. But we carry products from Japan, Thailand, Taiwan, China, Malaysia. We even stock some products from the UK. So we import a brand called Saicho, which is a sparkling tea. And it's an Asian kind of branded product. It's actually half Hong Kong, half British product. And they make it in England because the bottling facilities are great there. But yeah, like we are always active. We're not as aggressive as we can be because we are a family business, but I think we had a bit more character than others.
Let's look ahead a little bit. Where do you see the opportunities over the next year, 3, 5? What are you looking at?
Personally, we obviously want to open up more shops. My wife's in the Korean beauty business. She has 3 shops right now. She supplies some of the top beauty retailers in the city. And we definitely want to open up more shops for her because in Al Ghurair Center, where we opened last year in July, she has, it's kind of embarrassing, but also I'm very proud. She has less than 20% of the space and she does like 50% of the sales.
That's not a bad position to be
Yeah,
in.
yeah. So
Well, Korean beauty influencers.
it's embarrassing because I'm
beauty
losing this
products,
this battle in the family. She's the shining light in our family now. But I'm very proud because she's achieved so much, and hopefully I can retire faster.
Sometimes you just have to acquiesce. That's just how it works. Look, I had one very quick question. I'm being told to finish because we're running over time.
No
But
worries.
what is it? And I mean this with the greatest of respect. But what is it about Korean culture that's so attractive to people? Because wherever you look, it's K-pop. It's hanbok, isn't it? The traditional kind of dress is very
Yeah.
identified. Street fashion from K-pop, I suppose, or K-cinema, or K-dramas, or tech, or cuisine. I mean,
I think it's so multifaceted in terms of Korea as a whole. I think um, we do again have an artisanal approach to the way we do things, and somebody said there's a book about this. It's called nunchi. It's kind of how you observe and perceive things,
mhm,
and so. Um, for example, if you're with your elders, you know, you need to wait until they start eating before you start eating.
right,
If their glass doesn't have water, you should know that as somebody younger and pour them water. You have to you have to be very observant, and that is kind of in our DNA.
mhm,
We're taught to be like that at a young age, to observe, to make sure that your elders are respected, but also taken care of, as long as your younger brothers and sisters or whatnot. And that has provided us with a special skill of having a really good attention to detail. And when you have good attention to detail, you're able to, in my opinion, these are all my opinions, there are no facts in this, but in my opinion, that allows us to kind of push the limits of how we can do things better. What kind of lighting should I use? What shape should the table be? What kind of mic is the best?
mm,
And so when it comes to food, obviously, we're pushing the boundaries to become the number one restaurant in North America. Cooking shows or TV shows like Squid Games or movies or dramas. We one of the good things about our dramas is it's easy for people from other countries to digest, is because it's quite family friendly.
mm.
For lack of a better term, I think a lot of the content in the West is kind of, I don't know if I can use it. It's a bit trashy, like the reality TVs of
It,
the world and
it
things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it can be.
like it's a lot of things that I wouldn't show my kids
Sure,
because you don't learn anything from it.
sure.
Whereas in Korea, the TV shows are very family oriented and things like that. Music, obviously, they're able to understand what young people like, and they're able to create music around it. So yeah, it's multifaceted, but I think one of the core values is that we have dunchi, and I think that's a lesson for today.
That's the lesson I've learned. That's a great word as well. So it is. Chang Sup Shin is the CEO of 1004 Gourmet, importing, distributing Korean grocery products and more here in the UAE. It's been great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Really
Appreciate
appreciate it.
It's the Morning Drive. This is Mira Business FM. Like, subscribe, always appreciated. Wherever you join us from, get in touch. Tell us what you think about our content. And everything we do is available to watch and or listen to again. Find us where you get your podcasts by searching Mira Business FM.